landslides, volcanoes, earthquakes, floods, and hurricanes. Why do they occur? Where do they occur? And most importantly, how can we prepare for them? Discover the answers and much more in this fascinating 4-week unit on fast changes in the Earth. Good evening, and welcome to the Nightly News. I'm Natalie Bertelson, and tonight we will be looking at Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences and how they can be related to the unit of study, fast changes on the Earth. To begin, let's take a look at some of the standards that will be covered in this unit. Natalie has the story. Thank you, Natalie. So what you're looking at here is a list of the 4th grade content standards that will be covered in the unit. As you can see, this unit includes California Science Content, Common Core, and the ITSE Technology Standards. Now that you've seen the standards that we'll be covering in this unit, let's hear about the lessons that will be learned. Back to you, Natalie. Thank you, Natalie. As mentioned earlier in the broadcast, this unit focuses on fast changes in our Earth and has lessons that were created to reach each individual multiple intelligence. In the first week of instructions, students will get an overview of the fast changes that will be investigated deeper in the weeks to come. Let's take a look at week 1. Highlights from the week include a QR scavenger hunt, where students will watch movies, read articles, analyze graphs, and answer questions using their iPads. They will also be split into groups and assign vocabulary from each chapter in the unit. They will then define and create hand motions that illustrate each word. They will present this to the class using Google Slides. Students will also work in groups to create a Pinterest board categorizing fast changes with a wide variety of resources found on both Pinterest and kidsrex.com. Students will also determine the difference between fast changes and slow changes by completing a mini lesson on Quizlet. They will use this information to create a song. They will complete this activity by changing the lyrics to a familiar song and inserting their own lyrics. They will then insert their lyrics on Karaoke Builder, where they will have fun performing their songs to the class. And lastly, students will begin their Kids Blog account, where they will be answering weekly reflection and comprehension questions. You've seen these weird symbols before. But what do they actually do, and how can they be used? In our segment tonight, Technology Explained, Natalie has the story. QR codes are becoming the fad in education. One easy scan of the iPad and students are taken to a world of endless resources. If you have a web address, you can turn it into a QR code. Just use free websites like qrstuff.com to create your own QR codes. Choose from a multitude of free QR scanners on your iPad, and with one scan, you're ready to explore the world of code. Moving on to week 2 of the unit, where things get a little bit shaky. Take a listen. Highlights from the week include investigating earthquakes in California using the interactive and naturalistic app QuakeFeed. Students will locate the fault lines in California and the 10 most recent earthquakes that have occurred. They will also locate the tectonic plates in the world and annotate them on the app. Notability: students will then graph this information using the highly logical iPad app, Numbers. On day 2, students will create a structure that will survive an earthquake simulator test. They must first create a blueprint of their structure using the highly kinesthetic and artistic app Bamboo Paper. Then, using only straws, tape, and popsicle sticks, students will construct their structure and test it using low, medium, and high strengths. They will use the seismograph app to calculate the activity of their quake. Each trial will be recorded using the camera app. They must then answer questions in their interpersonal kid blog, like, did the structure survive? Students will also create haiku poetry using the visual and verbal website storybird.com, explaining tsunamis and earthquakes. Students will then use the website soundcloud.com to begin a playlist of songs that illustrate each fast change. To end the week, students will collaborate in groups and discuss the importance of being safe and prepared for earthquakes. They will then use the naturalist and mapping website mindmeister.com to brainstorm and create an Animoto safety commercial. The commercial will include maps, pictures, and how to prepare for earthquakes. Students will use the app Lifesaver for inspiration. Thank you for that overview. It looks like students will be engaging in several meaningful activities. Our special segment for tonight focuses on the author of the unit, Natalie, who tells her story about the impact of Howard Gardner and multiple intelligences. Let's take a look at her story. Previous to this course, I knew little to nothing about multiple intelligences, let alone the technologies that relate to each. Now, after completing this course, I feel confident in my abilities to find those resources that will reach all learning styles. This class has given me those tools, and it has made me a better teacher for my students. I now look at each student, friend, and family member with multiple intelligence in mind. This has given me a better understanding and perspective of people in general and how they tick. I learned the importance of reaching all multiple intelligences so that students grow in every area of intelligence. As a teacher, it is my responsibility to create meaningful learning experiences. I want to influence my students and help them reach their fullest potential. Understanding MIs facilitates that, and I'm grateful that this course has prepared me to do just that. Thank you. Thank you for that story, Natalie. Now, moving on to week 3 of our unit, where things get a little explosive. Let's take a look. In week 3, students will learn about the fascinating fast changes, landslides, and volcanoes. Here are some highlights from the week. First, we will be discussing landslides. To introduce this topic, students will watch YouTube videos, then be split into groups and assigned questions to answer. Using the verbal app Audio Boost, students will then record their answers of their questions. The teacher will compile the sound clips and turn it into an informative podcast. Students will work in groups to draw and label the parts of a volcano using the kinesthetic and visual app Drawing Box. They will all use the natural app Volcanoes and interact with maps, locating and labeling where the ring of fire is. They will also experiment with volcanic explosions by doing the Mentos and Diet Coke experiment. Students will keep a video blog using iMovie and record their hypothesis and each experiment. Thank you for that overview. Let's recap the fast changes we have learned about so far in our unit. We have earthquakes, tsunamis, landslides, and volcanoes. To wrap things up, we will take a look at water and how it acts as a fast change. Here's week 4. Enjoy. In week 4, we will be looking at how water acts as a fast change by exploring hurricanes and floods. To do this, students will use the app Extreme Weather, where they'll read articles, learn fascinating facts, and why hurricanes and floods occur. They'll also make real-world connections through learning about Hurricane Katrina, and then use the intrapersonal website Scoop It to write a newspaper article about what they learned. They will also complete a discovery lesson where they investigate one fast change that was not covered in this unit, and then create a visual presentation using Glogster. Students will also be split into fast change groups who will be secretly assigned a fast change by the teacher. They will then compose a song using the musical app GarageBand, depicting their fast change through music. They must then add movement to their song, demonstrating that they have a deep understanding of the fast change. Students will perform their fast change song and dance, and the others will guess which one it is. Students will also be synthesizing the information they learned about safety throughout the unit and create a rap or brochure informing people about the importance of preparing for natural disasters. And for their final project, students will be using their knowledge of fast changes and analyzing which has the most impact on the world. They will then have the option of writing a 5-paragraph essay, creating a visual presentation, or creating a song backing up their claim. And that's it! We've just learned about the fascinating unit created by Natalie Bertelson on fast changes in the Arabic. Not all technology resources were able to be explained in this broadcast, so here is a list of all of the technologies used in the unit. And that's our broadcast. See you next time. I'm Natalie Bertelson. Have a great night.